Breaking news. China to invest £46 billion in Africa. Jinping vows to set up security fund. China has pledged to invest £46 billion, $60 billion, into projects in Africa, as Xi Jinping wrote off some debt for poorer African nations and vowed to set up a peace and security fund. Mr. Jinping told African leaders at a gathering in Beijing the investment includes £11 billion, $15 billion, in grants, interest-free loans and concessional loans, £15 billion, $20 billion, in credit lines, £7 billion, $10 billion, for development financing and £3 billion, $5 billion, to buy imports from Africa. He pledged, without giving details, that China would set up a peace and security fund and a related forum, while continuing to provide free military assistance to the African Union. Mr. Jinping also vowed to push Chinese companies to further invest a minimum of £7 billion in Africa over the next 3 years in an outreach program designed to build trade, investment and political ties with the continent. Despite Africa's willingness to accept such financial opportunities from China, they come without protection against corruption, waste and environmental damage. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa said the meeting refutes the view that a new colonialism is taking hold in Africa, as our detractors would have us believe. China has denied engaging in debt-trap diplomacy, with Mr. Jinping adding the billions on offer, the same figure he pledged 3 years ago, come with no political strings attached. Mr. Jinping gave no details of any specific projects that came with the cash, but did say initiatives had been planned in 8 areas including emergency food aid, which would see China send 500 agricultural experts to Africa under a £114 billion, $147 million, scheme to create new scholarships, vocational training and trade and promotional opportunities. He also told of a separate initiative to build ports and other infrastructure as a tool for common prosperity. Mr. Jinping said, unilateralism and protectionism are on the rise. Economic growth lacks robust drive. China-Africa cooperation under the BRI is a way to common prosperity that brings benefits to both our peoples. Malaysia recently scrapped Chinese-financed projects worth more than £15 billion, $20 billion, on the grounds of them being unnecessary, adding they would create an unsuitable debt burden. Mr. Jinping said, China's investment in Africa comes with no political strings attached. China does not interfere in Africa's internal affairs and does not impose its own will on Africa.